I couldn't imagine bringing somebody into the world and have to deal with the things that they have to deal with these days. And I know nothing of it because, like I said, we didn't have those issues that there are now in the schools and everywhere in life in general. I became homeless a few years ago, and I left home at 13. So being homeless was really nothing new to me. But I'll tell you what was new is the way I found the world to be, as far as the way they treated someone, even my friends, and not naming names, but mostly anybody that if you become a burden, or if you become, this world is cold and it's getting colder. And even though somebody likes you and cares about you, they certainly don't want to sign up to take care of you. And unless you're providing some kind of a purpose, if you can contribute to them somehow, then maybe you can get support that way. But I literally had none, and so it's hard for me to understand how a single female in this world couldn't. I mean, apparently I was a pretty big threat, and not just when I was homeless all my life, and I never really quite understood what that was, or why how a little girl could be such a huge threat to so many people on so many levels. So today, or yesterday and the day before, I had the honor of being a part of a memorial for someone, Dirty Dave Wieberdink, that passed away on the 4th of November, I believe. But his memorial was just the other day here, and I've known Wieberdink since I was 19, maybe even before. He was around, before I was even born. He was one of the guys that had been in the Outsiders since before I was even born, and he was quite the character, I have to say. We all love David. Anyway, he went fast. While I was there, I was able to talk with people that helped raise me. We'll just put it that way. They brought me into being a woman, and taught me things that I should have probably already known already, and I had the opportunity to thank them, some of them, for that, and show them my gratitude and tell them how much that really meant to me, and whether they knew it or not. And I also pitched a book that I'm planning on writing, and I wanted to make them all a part of it because I think it's really important. So many things are misunderstood, misconstrued, and twisted around. People have their own perceptions of things, and I think it's really important that people understand mine, and not just mine, but those of the people who were part of that. I think that it is such a righteous circle of people that a lot of people don't understand, or would never have the opportunity to, or have these ideas of what it's all about. And I really think it's important that we tell our own stories, because they're changing our histories. They're changing the history books. They're teaching kids shit in school now that's not even true. It's not. It's a lie. And I'm sorry, but that's the facts. Write your own legacy. Tell your own story, because you cannot depend on anybody else to do it for you accurately. So if you're not telling your own story today, don't expect someone's going to tell it correctly for you tomorrow, because they won't. If anything, it'll be nowhere near the truth, but twisted to suit their advantage. So regardless. So anyway, this is pretty much like an intro to my book, and a call out to anybody who thinks that they might want to bring in children into this world. Slap your mother, first of all, and then slap yourself, because you're selfish and you're only thinking of yourself or trying to save your relationship, let me tell you something. The last thing this world needs is, I'm just saying, think about it. Now is not the time for bringing in babies. I'm just saying, and if you can't promise a child the best life that it could possibly have, and you can't. I don't expect that you can shelter them if for as long as you can, but then as soon as the real world smacks them in the face, they're going to hate you for it because they're not prepared. They're not prepared for what's really out there because you did not prepare them. If you protect your children from the truth, you're not helping them. You're only hurting them, and they're not going to appreciate that for you. I know. And for all those people out there that I don't know who my father was. Let me tell you, that is so wrong on so many levels, to not know who your father is, or even, know anything about them. It doesn't matter. If you're keeping your kids from the father, don't let them see him or lie about who. Listen, let me tell you something. Your little game playing with your children, using them as weapons, is bullshit, and you should not be allowed to have children at all, period. Because you're a selfish fucking prick. That's what you are. If you're doing that with your kids, shame on you. And to not tell a kid who they are, where they come from, where they belong, it fucks them up more than you can ever imagine. I promise you. They'll seek that comfort in the arms of strangers, and you can thank yourself for that when they are always looking for their daddy in someone else's arms, So let me just tell you, the abandonment issues, the insecurities, and all the shit that goes with it, think about what you're doing to your kids. If you're fighting in front of them, and how you treat each other in a relationship is exactly how they're going to learn how to treat others in theirs. Remember, when you abuse or victimize somebody, they're learning that. And whether you believe it or not, once the victim then becomes the abuser. So, regardless, I'm just saying right now is probably not the best time, and that's my opinion. I never really wanted kids, but I'm making a plea out to anybody else out there that thinks it might be a good idea. Think about anybody else but yourself for a minute. Go look downtown any city, USA, and realize that you're 2 paychecks away from being in that fucking homeless camp too. So just think about that. And because we didn't have our revolt the way we should have probably 50 fucking years ago, we deserve the tyranny that we're facing now. And because we're too pussy to do anything about it, we're now going to have to pay the consequences. And it's going to hurt, and it's going to be ugly, and it's not built for humans, let me tell you. So that's my plea to you. If you're thinking about breeding, don't. For the sake of everything that's good, get a dog, get a fish, buy a plant, something. Anything but breeding. If you think populating this fucked up planet is a good idea, then you should be sterilized. I know I have strong opinions, and I'm probably not making any friends here, but guess what? I don't give a shit. So you don't have to watch my fucking videos. You can unsubscribe, you can unfriend me. Seriously, because I'm not trying to make friends. I'm really not here to make friends. I'm here to try to point out something that maybe no one else quite noticed that yet, or whatever. I don't give a shit. I know I'm not the only one now, and I'm not going to sit down and shut the fuck up. I won't. I'm sorry. And if you don't like it, unsubscribe, unfriend me, and then fuck off. So, with that being said, this little light of mine. No, I want to bid you all a wonderful holiday. Thanksgiving, I don't celebrate. I think it's the worst holiday of all of them. What a fucking bullshit story that is. We're celebrating the massacre of the fucking indigenous people of this land, and I refuse to celebrate that. what a fucking joke. And oh, that's the other thing. When you're raising your kids and you're telling them all these bullshit lies about Santa Claus and the fairy tale, the tooth fairy and all that shit. Let me tell you, lying to your children so they can find out that you betrayed them on any level, whether it's a fairy tale. That's what my father was, some hippie on a houseboat that floated away. So know that when they find out you've been bullshitting them, a lie is a lie is a lie. I don't care how you fucking tell it. So anyway, again, Thanksgiving, celebrating the massacre of the indigenous people of this land.